What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Big Movie Bois podcast. Back and better than ever, Jeremy, Bob, and Ben. Boys, how are we feeling this week?
3 weeks in a row. I would never have guessed it. Feeling pretty solid, Ben. How are you feeling about this third consecutive podcast?
Yeah, the over/under was 1.5, and I'm surprised we're doubling that right now. But no, it feels good to be back. It helps that Jeremy does all the prep every week. Otherwise, it would be a struggle, I gotta say.
Just turn on my camera and show up.
I'm glad I haven't made it too hard on you guys. We've got a lot we want to talk about this week. I want to talk about the Writers Guild SAG-AFTRA Strikes. I think that's a pretty interesting, pretty important topic of discussion. And we're also going to go back to a tried and true classic, a staple of the Big Movie Boys podcast, which is the Big Movie Boys presents Who is the Biggest Movie Boy Challenge. It'll be a dual edition pitting Bob and Ben against one another. But before we get into all that stuff, we talk a lot about movies, a lot about television. I want to talk about a recent internet trend, something that's sweeping the Twitch/YouTube live streaming space. This all started a couple weeks ago by a creator who goes by DougDoug, and this is a new fast food challenge. Basically, the idea is you get 4 people, that's your team, in one car, and you go to 10 different drive-through restaurants. And each time you get up to make your order, you just go, whatever the guy in front of me got, I'll have what he's having. Just give me the same order as whoever was just in front of me in line. And you have to eat everything that the person in front of them ordered 10 times. The additional rules include you can only go to like one drink place, like a Starbucks. You can go to up to 2 dessert places. A couple people went to Krispy Kreme. You can only repeat one restaurant. So of the 10, there can be one duplicate if you want to try to test your luck a second time. And you have to go to KFC. Now, the first group to do this, DougDoug's group, they got through 9 restaurants successfully. At the 10th, they had to call in a ringer. They had to call in a 5th person to help them because their 10th restaurant was KFC. And the order they got stuck with was like an 8-piece bucket with a bunch of sides. And that was after having gone to 9 restaurants. So that was they completed it technically, but there's an asterisk. The second team managed to complete all 10 with just the 4 of them. And then yesterday, another group went and they completed 11 restaurants. Now this is taking between like 4 to 6 hours, and they're consuming between 4 people between like 15 and 20,000 calories. So I want to get you guys' thoughts. What are your strategies in a situation like this if you were up to this challenge?
All I have is questions. What if the person in front of you is just a singular person, they order one cheeseburger, do the 4 people in the car split it, or does everybody have to get?
It's just as a group you have to consume whatever the meal was. So it's
okay.
Luck plays a big part of it because you can get behind one guy who just orders a bottle of water. Or you get behind a mom coming back from soccer practice getting 6 meals for her kids.
Is there any tactical, like, can I scope out and try to hop in line behind somebody that I think isn't going to order a lot? Or is I literally luck of the draw, I roll up to the fucking building, whoever's in front of me is in front of me?
It's mostly luck of the draw. There were a couple situations where there's like multiple lines at the drive-thru, and so they would try to scope out which line they thought would be the better one.
Okay, I will say I don't think this is hard at all.
I was thinking the same thing, Bob. I'm like, if you start early, like, is there a time limit on it? You're saying 6 hours. Can you take like 12 hours? Because like I start early. I go to Tim Hortons. We get a couple coffees. Everyone just split some coffees. This helps being in Buffalo. Maybe it's different at other places. Go to a breakfast place. Maybe a couple a bagel or a donut. But that seems easy to me. And then just work your way. Popeyes, I got to hit at some point just because I want it. KFC I haven't had since I was about 12 years old, so that might be a tough one if you get stuck with it. Yeah, it feels like that one should be last no matter what.
That's the gamble, though. You get stuck with a bucket. I will say, DougDoug himself, again, they called in a ringer to help them finish the chicken, but this dude drank like a tub of gravy. to finish the challenge.
That sounds like DougDoug, having never seen or ever heard of him.
But I'm telling you, everyone who's done this, they're dead before the end of it, but at the end of it especially, because they're consuming like on average like 4,000, 5,000 calories a piece over the course of like 4 to 6 hours, and it's all fast food. It's not like good.
Dude, if I guys just got liquored up before this isn't even that different than what I do on like a Friday or Saturday night anyway. I really think I do admit that if you could easily get fucked over. I think you're more likely to get fucked over at KFC, which is why I think that has to be on there. I think that's like the caveat, because if KFC wasn't on there, you're just going to a bunch of other random restaurants. Yeah, the odds of you only getting a couple things from the guy in front of you or person in front of you, pretty likely. I mean, I feel like you can make it. I feel like I could probably make it pretty far just by my fucking self.
And that's part of the strategy that these teams are trying to come up with. It was like time of day when you should go. Do you just split all the meals evenly? There were some people who were like, hey, this is my restaurant. I'm going to tank this order because I know I can do it. And that some people just said, I got this one.
Who would our fourth person be?
I was about to say, Ben, I know exactly who it would be. Longtime listener, been on the podcast a couple of times, Big Bill Galley.
That's what I was thinking. Okay.
No problem, dude. If it's us three and him, I think we're putting this thing down.
The last three restaurants might just be him by himself.
You don't even have to eat.
That's another strategy too. You have someone who goes kind of hard early, and then they get the middle restaurants off, and then they come back to anchor and be the hero at the end of the day. So I think there's a lot of strategy. It looks awful at the end. Everyone's like ready to puke, and it is total luck of the draw. The one group went to In-N-Out, and the person in front of them ordered 4 meals, like burgers, fried, drink, and all 4 meals substituted the drink for a milkshake.
That's tough. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So, but it's been pretty entertaining to watch these different groups kind of like compete, and watching like clips and stuff from their live streams, and some of them have edited down condensed videos, but I thought it was an interesting, fun challenge that I'm not necessarily looking to do, but it got my wheels spinning as far as, how would I approach it? But it sounds like Bob's gung-ho, like he's ready for it.
Yeah, I do honestly believe I could do this. God, pretty fucking easily. I'd be willing to try it.
What are your 2 restaurants? Don't you think Tim Hortons, or do you go for something different?
I think you're definitely right with Tim Hortons or Starbucks. There's got to be some sort of
drink place twice.
You can get pretty lucky there and just get a coffee or 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I think. Fuck, for some reason, I just immediately jumped to McDonald's. I feel like I can put down a lot of McDonald's. I'm just trying to think of stuff that I could eat that wouldn't fill me up that much. You said Popeyes, Ben. I mean, that would be delicious, but like what if I eat 2 chicken sandwiches at Popeyes? I'm out for the rest of the evening, I think.
Yeah.
A wing place, possibly. I don't know. Drive-thru really exists.
It's funny because when we get these places, though, we're just ordering for ourselves. That's very rarely am I going with anyone else. But like people are going there for like their family of 6, and then you can just get fucked.
Repulsive.
Yeah, it's a gamble, but it provides for good content, and that's what we care about here. So let's get into our news topic for the day. I would like to talk about the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes. Before kind of getting into my notes here, I'm just kind of curious as to what you guys have heard about it, how much you've been following it, what you know about it, what you don't know about it, just to help kind of guide the conversation here.
Yeah, I mean, as a simpleton who knows nothing about this, I don't even know what those acronyms or what are they?
Come on, we should guess. Come on, Bob, you did the SAG one.
All right,
I don't even know.
WGA.
SAG is Screen Actors Guild.
Yep, there you go.
The other one I don't know.
Writers of America Guild.
Flip it. Writers Guild of America.
Perfect.
Right, well, what are these fucking bitches have to? What are they striking for? What's the problem? Nobody's paying them. Who cares?
Okay, that's what Bob knows.
Bob's on the side of big money. He wants the billionaires to retain more money. All I know is millionaires and billionaires are fighting, and I see a lot of blue check marks on Twitter are siding with the billionaires who they'll never talk to, and that's how I know to go with the millionaires who I'll never talk to, because I'd rather have millionaires have more money and 100,000ers, then billionaires have more money. That's always where I'll lie. When it comes to sports, I'm always on the side of the players, and when it comes to these actors and writers, I'll be on their side.
I have a question.
Too far off on that one. Go for it, Bob.
Is this have anything to do with them taking Mighty Ducks Game Changers off of Disney Plus?
Everything to do with it.
In part, it does. Not necessarily directly, but the reasons for the strike are similar to the reasons why they've been removing things from streaming services.
Whose side do I have to be on to get it back on?
Well, Bob, you want to be on the side of the unions, and we'll get into why that is over the course of this discussion here. But okay, I think I have an understanding of where you guys are at, which is you have no idea what's going on. Which is why I think it's a good topic to talk about. I think it's an important topic. Granted, the 30 people who listen to this, maybe someone will learn something.
30?
Of course. On a good day, Bob. On a good day. All right. So, generally speaking, we have kind of three different groups in this whole discussion. You have the WGA, which is the Writers Guild of America, as Ben so aptly pointed out. That is a union that represents writers in film, television, radio, and online media. They've been on strike for like 3 months at this point. And then more recently, you have SAG-AFTRA, the Screen Actors Guild, and the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, another union representing 160,000 members that include actors, stunt coordinators, voice actors, background actors. Last week, they went on strike. And they're both basically pitted against the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, AMPTP for short. And that is basically the conglomerate of major film studios, TV network streamers. So that's Disney, Paramount, Fox, NBC, Netflix, Amazon. That's all the people who control the money in this situation. So the two unions are striking independently, but because they're in the same sector, there's a lot of crossover, obviously. So it just kind of adds more fuel to the fire. A lot of the people in the AMPTP try to brush off the Writers Guild strike, and they're like, we can wait them out. It's not a big deal. What do we need writers for? Now with SAG-AFTRA joining, there's like I said, a lot more fuel to the fire. They can't really do anything without their actors.
Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I did see this is like the first time in like 60 years that both of them are on strike at the same time.
That is correct. So it's a big deal. Obviously, there was the writer's strike back in 07, 08, something like that.
I remember that.
Yep. So you probably just remember Lost or whatever else, The Office.
Started to suck.
The Office is
strike was happening. I remember that.
Yep. So I believe that was the last time the writers went on strike. I don't know exactly the last time the SAG-AFTRA went on strike, but it has been just over 60 years since the two went on strike at the same time. And basically what causes a strike, not just in this sector, but in any sector, is these unions have contracts with in this case, the AMPTP. These contracts were due to expire. There's been months of negotiations leading up to this, and essentially there was no deal. The AMPTP was not willing to play ball. So the unions vote as to whether or not they want to go on strike. It was voted in both cases that they did want to go on strike, and now they are on strike for the foreseeable future. Basically, it's a labor pause to force the AMPTP back to the table to negotiate in good faith to try to get the things that they were pushing for originally in those contract negotiations. So the question is, as Bob brought up, why? I think he added a few more words to his question when he asked it, but why are they going on strike? What are they asking for? Two of the big things that you may have heard about are better compensation. They want to be better compensated for their work. A big part of that is residuals. The way residuals have worked in the streaming era are very different than how they were on like syndicated cable, and basically results in people on very popular TV shows getting residual checks of like pennies or dollars, not nearly to the degree that they were getting 10, 15 years ago.
I've heard, so to bring it back to Gilmore Girls, as everything always goes back to.
Of course.
Sean Gunn, brother of James Gunn, who was a pretty large character in Gilmore Girls. I saw
the best character.
Yep, very good character. I saw him mention that he has not got a residual check from Gilmore Girls in like 15 years, ever since it's been on Netflix, basically. And that's like in their top 5 streaming, basically year round. Like everybody fucking watches Gilmore Girls on Netflix, and this guy's not getting a penny from it, which is a little fucked. I guess I understand the difference. I don't know, because like you said, when it was syndicated television, like when I'd watch fucking Seinfeld on Fox, whatever the fuck.
Fox 29.
Yeah, that's what it used to be on. I understand where they're getting residual checks, is getting money from advertising and a million other things like that. Where does it come from streaming? Obviously, it's different, but I feel like these, like Netflix and these other corporations, that like these streaming companies, saw it as something different, and then they're just like, well, since it's not on TV, it's not syndicated, I don't have to give you residual checks because it's technically different than whatever that was, which is kind of fucked if you think about it. But it makes sense why we got to them.
No, it's definitely even on streaming services, these shows like Gilmore Girls, these old shows, these new shows that are made specifically for streaming services, like they generate money for these companies, right? Mm-hmm. And the point of residual checks is to provide the people who created the show a portion of the money that the show continues to generate in syndication on streaming services, whatever it is. On streaming services, it's maybe not as clear as far as like how much money it's bringing in, and that's partially because a lot of these streamers don't provide public numbers for all that stuff. But part of the negotiations are like getting a percentage of the subscriptions that a show causes. So like if a show pops off on Netflix and it increases their subscriptions by X amount, they would get, some sort of kickback on that. I mean, Hulu runs ads, as we know, so there is still, advertisements on shows like that. So that's one part of it, that both SAG and the WGA are negotiating in different ways for better compensation, particularly when it comes to streaming, but just overall as well. And then the other big one that you might have seen headlines about is concerns about AI. Obviously, writers were worried about different parts of their job being done by AI. There were proposals by people in the AMPTP about paying an actor a day rate to come in, film, scan their face and body and likeness, and then they would have use of that in future productions in perpetuity with zero compensation going to the actor. So basically you get paid once a day rate, and then they can just use AI to use you in any production ever
as a background, right? And I saw that one too, and that one has to freak people out the most. I think like thinking about like just to go back to your point about like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon using like upfront money to get all these big names to join onto projects or whatever. I think they're all like, yeah, that's great, but then they're not thinking long term about like, I think they started to realize, oh, now I have really no motivation to make this even good. Who cares if it stays on? And then that hurts a lot of the background actors and a lot of the secondary actors who are like, oh, this show isn't as good as I thought it would be. And people just don't realize how it's going to affect like upcoming shows and things like that. And I to your point, Jared, just now about people being just scanned and then be used in the future, that has to be freaky for any person who just wants to go be like a working actor in Hollywood. Like that, you just aren't going to have a career then.
Yeah, it would basically kill the industry of like background actors if you're just going to fill the background with AI generated people that you scanned, 10 years ago or whatever.
Right. It's super fucked up, but at the same time, pretty smart, right? Like that's going to save them so much money. Really think about it. Like,
and that's,
I get, like, I'm kind of joking, but like, really think about it. Like, the guy at the big studio, like the like, he's probably like a stereotypical like bad guy, like holding 2 bags of money, fucking taking a lollipop out of a child's mouth, like just a fucking bad fucking dude is just like, what if we just fucking scan their faces and never pay them again? And like all the other rich guys are like, what? That's a great idea. Like when they came up with that, they thought that was really smart. They're trying to make as much money as possible, trying to fuck over as many people as possible. So like, yeah, pretty fucking smart. If they do get away with that, like, wow, they're gonna make a lot of money.
And what you're describing is pretty much just like the inherent dichotomy between capital owners and laborers. As working class laborers, your goal is to work basically as little as possible for the greatest amount of pay, and the capital owners want you to work as much as possible for the least amount of pay. Or in conjunction with that, replace you with something even cheaper, in this case, AI, and then pay you, pennies, and then use your likeness forever. So
It's good to know that Bob would sign up real quick to be one of those one-day actors for that $200 fee.
Be great.
and that's where, the unions come in. There's an old saying, I guess, divided you beg, united you bargain. That's the whole point of a union, is to join forces with the people in your industry to have more leverage when you go to the negotiating table, because otherwise you have no power and you're going to get screwed by your bosses 100% of the time. To kind of go back to the one point, Ben, you said when I first asked you about siding with the millionaires over the billionaires, and always, assuming that if a blue check mark says it's a good thing, it's probably a bad thing. I think you're generally going to be right in that case. But it is important to know SAG-AFTRA, 160,000 members, somewhere between 12 and 15% of them make $26,000 a year, which is the minimum requirement to have their SAG-AFTRA health coverage. So 85-ish% aren't even making $26,000 a year and don't even have health coverage from them being an actor. So yes, obviously there are superstar actors that we all know and are millionaires and may even own their own production companies on top of that, but they make up a very small percentage. And
even more so reason to be on their side.
To their credit, most of them have been or maybe not most of them, but a lot of them have been very outspoken. And it's, even like blue check marks on Twitter will try to dunk on like Ron Perlman. I don't know if you saw his clip going around, but they're saying like, oh, he's a millionaire, what does he care? It's actually a good thing that he's speaking out on behalf of the people in his union that aren't making that money. There's been clips of, like you said, Sean Gunn going around, clips of Matt Damon and Kenneth Branagh at the Oppenheimer premiere that were going around. Like, these are big names. These are people who are very rich. They clearly are making more than $26,000 a year, but they're all part of the same union as the guy making $10,000 a year who doesn't have health coverage. So that's just another thing to point out. Just to try to educate you guys a little bit on how this is often portrayed in the media or often framed, maybe to fine-tune your bullshit detector a little bit. You'll often see like the AMPTP being the one quoted in news articles. One of the big ones going around is that the AMPTP presented a deal that offered historic pay and residual increases, the studio boss has said. The union has regrettably chosen a path that will lead to financial hardship for countless thousands of people who depend on the industry. It's always kind of bullshit when you go to the bosses in charge and get a quote from them without talking to the actual laborers who are on strike, because it's not like they want to be on strike. They're on strike as a necessity. And also, the people in the AMPTP have all the power. They could end the strike tomorrow by giving SAG-AFTRA and these unions what they want, which they have all the money in the world to do. Well, they're not asking for anything crazy. They're asking for fair compensation.
Even more off that, like I saw something where it's like some ABC article basically slamming the actors and the writers for causing delays and causing other people to lose out on money. And it's like, oh, ABC, I wonder who they're owned by. Oh, Disney.
Exactly.
Oh, Bob Iger. And like, it's just people, they're going to use their outlets and their other news outlets to try to make them look bad. But yeah, you have to kind of have your bullshit detector up.
Exactly. Their job, basically, as a branch of capital being owned by these other major conglomerates, is to sow division in the working class. When, in reality, a win for labor in one industry is a win for labor overall. The unions getting what they want out of their bosses in this case ultimately makes the bosses less powerful over all of the other people that they're, over in the hierarchy at their company, even if they're not part of this union. So in the short term, there may be people who, undergo hardships, as well as the people who are on strike. They're not making any money either. But ultimately, a win for labor is a good thing overall. There was the quote that is being attributed to Bob Iger, most likely, although it was an unnamed studio executive in the article, who said, The end game is to allow things to drag on until union members start losing their apartments and losing their houses. Basically saying the quiet part out loud. Like, you have to come from a place of feeling real comfortable to say something like that. Because I don't know how you can say that and expect people to hear it and be on your side. Like, he's been compensated hundreds of millions of dollars over the last few years for creating nothing, essentially, right? Like, if the CEO went on strike, who would notice? No one. The company moves forward. The whole point of this strike is to show when you remove the foundation of the pyramid, everything crumbles. The people actually creating the value here are the ones who are on strike. Again, it's like, as Bob kind of said, it's like cartoonishly evil, like, in a way. Like, it's bold for them to say something that brazen.
I do have to say, are we the vigilantes of Hollywood, though? Every time movies and TV shows are about to go away, we pop up. That's what we do. It
is true. It's not good luck, apparently.
Some people would call it horrendous timing.
Yeah.
Hey, at least we don't have to go to more movies then, Bob, right?
Right.
I guess I'll kind of end this whole rant with just kind of like some points of action. Basically, what can we do as consumers? As of right now, neither union is calling for a boycott on the consumer side. They're not telling you to stop watching movies. They're not telling you to stop your podcast that no one listens to. What they are asking you to do is to spread awareness, which I guess technically this is what we're doing in this way, but that could just be as simple as like retweeting stuff on Twitter. Obviously, don't scab. I don't think anyone listening to this is going to have that opportunity anyway, but basically, don't cross the picket line. Don't join any production as a non-union actor. Not only is it scabbing, but it's also completely fucking your career because you won't be able to join
we're gonna see
SAG-AFTRA.
We're gonna see Bob in some random production pretty soon.
I'm gonna be like a background actor on a Hallmark movie or something.
And then you can also donate if you want to provide financial help to the Entertainment Community Fund. They provide help to the people on strike who may not have an income at this point, the other industries that may potentially be affected, people who are laid off because there is no work going on, and just helping the general strike force in general. So there is a place to donate to the Entertainment Community Fund. I would recommend following Adam Conover of Adam Ruins Everything. He's in both guilds. He's elected to some leadership role in the Writers Guild, and he's been all over Twitter, kind of really helping explain these things to normal people and making it all make sense and explaining why labor action is important, why unions are good, and obviously this being Hollywood, a very public-facing union, one of the last remaining pretty strong unions in this country. I think it's a very cool thing. I think it's an important thing to talk about. So do you guys have any remaining questions or anything to bring up on this topic?
How long is it going to last?
It's unknown. I mean, as we know, the AMPTP is willing to starve them out, but in reality, they're the ones who are being starved out at the moment. They're not going to make any money at this point. The shareholders are not going to be happy. They have a fiduciary responsibility for the sake of the company to start making money. So the pressure is on for them to come back to the negotiating table. It's just a matter of if they come back in good faith and are willing to give these unions what they want. If they don't, then negotiations will continue to go back and forth and they will remain on strike. It doesn't sound like anyone involved in these strikes is willing to stop anytime soon, so it could be a while. Anything for you, Ben?
No, I think you hit a lot of points. Like, I feel a little more educated about it. I'm still on the same side I was on, but yeah, I guess I'll be paying more attention. I like hearing what you say. I kind of hope it lasts longer. Then I'll be fine. Rewatching Gilmore Girls with Bob. And just waiting until they get what they deserve, because when the working class, even in Hollywood, gets what they want, that's going to be better for everyone else in this country.
Absolutely. All right. So with all of that out of the way, we are going to end this episode on the first installment in season 2 of the Big Movie Boys present Who is the Biggest Movie Boy Challenge. I'm pitting you two against each other. You guys have no idea what we're about to do, which I think is pretty fun. Are you guys familiar?
I've only ever won one of these and I cheated. Now we're on camera, so I can't cheat. So that's unfortunate.
I did think about that, actually, how it was going to be more difficult for you to cheat in this case.
I'll find a way.
Are you guys familiar with the website ranker.com?
No dice.
No, but I feel like I can picture what they do.
You would be correct in your assumption, most likely, because it's just a website with a ton of like top 10, top 25, top 100 lists. I guess you can log in and vote, and there's just lists for everything, and people will rank them. And so I found 5 different lists that we're going to go through. It's basically going to be 5 rounds. You guys are going to go back and forth making guesses, let's say up to 10 guesses each. And for each list, your goal is to name something in the top 10. If you can name something in the top 10, you get a point. We're going to go through all 5 lists. Whoever has the most cumulative points at the end of this will win. Doesn't matter if you get 1 or 10, you get a point if you get something in the top 10. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Pretty straightforward, yeah.
All right. I'm going to try to both produce this and keep score, so hopefully it's not a complete disaster. Anyone watching the video version, I'm going to have a little bit of a visual element here. Our first list is we're looking for the top 10 most inspirational sports movies. Bob, you are technically the reigning biggest movie boy because of our last challenge when we did our movie draft. The one and only time you won. So I'll give you the first guess here. We're looking for what people on Ranker voted the top 10 most inspirational sports movies.
Is Rankered, or is it reputable? Or is this, can you really skew these?
I mean, anyone can, I guess, vote on this technically. But I will say for these lists, I thought most of them were gettable. I didn't think there were really any major curveballs. Not saying you're going to get all 10 in every situation, but I think they're reasonable.
I'm going to start it off with an easy one. I'm going to say Rocky.
Rocky is number 3 in our top 10 list here. So that is a point for Bob.
I was going to go with Rudy.
Rudy is the number 1 most inspirational sport movie according to Ranker.
I just got done voting for that one on Ranker, so that helps.
This is where I struggle because now I can't think of another fucking sports movie. Rocky 4.
No Rocky 4. And
Can you just let us know if there's any other Rocky movies?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep guessing Rocky movies.
Oh man, the one I have no idea. I'm just drawing a blank, Jerry. Wish we would have gotten a heads up on these. I'm gonna need time between my next guess, so I'm gonna go with Air Bud.
Air Bud is not on the list, surprisingly. I was sad to see it. Now that you've both guessed twice, I will say there's no more Rocky movies on the list.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll go with another boxing movie, Southpaw.
Southpaw is not on the top 10 list here.
There's got to be more boxing movies, though. I'm going to go with one with our good buddy Mark Wahlberg in it, with The Fighter. I don't remember it being very inspiring, but...
Unfortunately, no one else thought it was very inspiring either.
Fuck.
Movies. I can't believe I said Air Bud.
Inspirational sports movies.
That is the category.
Can I ask a question? Are they all like straightforward sports movies? There's none that are like, oh, that's not a fucking sports movie.
I have my next guess at least.
Yeah, no, they're all tried and true sports movies.
Invincible.
Invincible is not in the
another
list.
Mark Wahlberg one. I'm gonna go with Any Given Sunday.
No dice on Any Given Sunday.
Bullshit. We Are Marshall.
We Are Marshall
That's
did
very.
not make the cut.
That one's a good one, Bob. Even though everyone died. Remember the Titans.
Spoil it.
Remember the Titans is number 2. You guys
I
have
got
the
1
top
and 2 at
3.
least. Can we cross off the Airbud one? Can we just get that out of there? Can we edit that out?
No, because I agree it should be on the list.
I was trying to think of football movies after Ben's. What did you say? Any Given Sunday?
Yeah.
And then I said We Are Marshall, and I knew the next one would have been Angels in the Outfield.
God damn, that's a horrible guess.
Not in the top 10.
I'm running out of ideas, dude.
So am I, but I know you are too. So I'm just gonna throw a fun one out there, which is the Mighty Ducks.
Sadly, no Mighty Ducks in this list.
Surprising.
How many more guesses we got in this one?
I don't know. I've lost count, but we'll go like 2 more rounds. If you guys don't get any more, we'll call it here.
Is there like a Steve Prefontaine movie on there? Free or something?
Is that your guess?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I don't know. I think there's a movie about him.
Well, it's not on the top 10 list if there is.
Sports movies.
I think you're missing like one really obvious one. I think the other ones are fairly gettable. There's really only one on here that I would be surprised if you got.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams is number 7.
3-1, Bob. You're sweating?
Raging Bull.
No Raging Bull.
All right, I don't have anything. Just read them all.
Well,
this is my
Ben's
last
got
one.
One more guess then.
I'm gonna go with another baseball one, but I'm trying to think of another baseball one. I'll go with Tom Hanks, A League of Their Own.
No, A League of Their Own. There are 2 more baseball ones on this list though.
Sandlot.
A little too late, but Sandlot is
Shit.
number 10.
Damn. Should have thought of that.
To hit the ones that you missed here, number 10, The Sandlot. Number 9, 42.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I saw that one.
Oh, with what's his name? Yeah.
Chadwick.
Number 8 is the one that I didn't expect you guys to get, Fighting with My Family.
That's
That
about
shouldn't count.
I mean, it's a sports movie. I've never seen it. It's more recent, right? It came out a couple of years ago.
I've seen it, and it has Florence Pugh in it.
Yeah, I did know that. You got number 7, Field of Dreams. Number 6 was The Blind Side.
Oh,
That's a Hallmark movie.
that's a good one though.
Number 5, Hoosiers.
Oh, that's a good one.
And number 4, the last one you missed, the one that I thought was fairly obvious, Miracle.
That's tough.
And then you guys got the top 3, Rocky, Remember the Titans, and Rudy. So after our first list here, Ben in a commanding lead of 3-1. So far, you guys are shooting 40% as a group. So let's see if we can get those numbers up a little bit. All right. Our next list here, looking for the top 10 greatest cartoon characters in TV history. Ben, you'll go first this time.
I'll go with Homer Simpson.
Homer Simpson is on the list. He is number 9.
I'll go SpongeBob SquarePants.
SpongeBob SquarePants is number 5.
How weird is this going to get? I'll go with Eric Cartman.
No Eric Cartman on this list.
Ooh. Oh man, I almost want to go another South Park one, but I'm afraid to. I'll go Peter Griffin.
No Peter Griffin on the
That was
list.
my other one, Bob. So I feel better about that. SpongeBob's 5. That makes me think like Patrick Star isn't going to make the list. And you said just TV, Jer?
The category is greatest characters in TV history. There are obviously some of these characters appear in movies as well, but
The fuck animated shows are there? I'll go with Rick from Rick and Morty.
no Rick.
Dora the Explorer.
That's how that fucked.
I'll hit you with that one in Spanish. No.
Fuck. I'm going for oddballs.
Yeah, that was a good one. I thought once you said it, I was like, oh shit.
Bob, the category is top 10 greatest cartoon characters in history. I can tell you, you don't need to go for oddballs. We're looking for the tried and true ones here.
I know, but like you wouldn't think of Dora the Explorer. Like obviously, like if she would be on a list, but like these fucks are voting for it. Or she taught a generation of
TV.
children Spanish.
But like, is like Superman an animated show? I don't know. Animated. I don't watch anything animated. I'm gonna go with like a Batman. Does he count? Is he an animated anywhere?
And Batman has appeared in many animated products. He's not on the list, however.
All right, I'm gonna go Avatar: The Last Airbender. Aang.
Not in the top 10 list.
Keep going oddballs, Bob. At least I'll have a chance.
You guys are missing like some tried and true classic iconic.
Yeah, you know how easy it is when you're looking right at the
I'm
list.
trying to give you hints though. Like, don't overthink it. Most iconic characters who have ever been animated.
Have we watched these shows?
Yeah, there's nothing on here you haven't heard of.
Oh shit.
I will say, admittedly, 1 and 2 are a bit surprising, but I mean, you can still get all of these potentially.
One last question, Jared, and then you can tell me to shut up. Is it all from like our era then, or is it newer stuff?
I would say a lot of these are timeless.
Timeless. Okay, that helps. It won't get me this next one. I'll go with Patrick Star.
No,
Popeye the Sailor Man.
no, but I like where you're kind of heading towards, Bob.
Oh, me.
Like where Bob's heading.
I got my next two.
Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny's number 3. That's a point for Ben.
Daffy Duck.
Daffy Duck is number 6.
Fucking riding my coattails there, Bob.
I had to. That was just an obvious next one.
I will go with. This is nerve wracking because the show is both of their names, but I will go with Jerry from Tom and Jerry.
Jerry Mouse is number 2.
Got him.
Well, I'm gonna go with Tom.
Good job, Bob. Tomcat is number 1.
Look at Bob just fucking. He's only number 1 because the name's before Jerry. I don't know why I didn't go with him first.
I told you 1 and 2 is a little strange. I'm surprised that they made 1 and 2, but I'll give them top 10.
All right, I'm going back. Oh, are we still going?
Sure, why not?
First, so.
You guys are on a streak now.
I'm going with Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh, I think, was number 11, actually. It was very
Give
close.
me half a point.
Jimmy Neutron.
No,
That
Jimmy
was
Neutron.
stupid as fuck. You went with Dora and Jimmy Neutron.
You keep making guesses like that, this round's going to end pretty quickly here.
Let's go one more. Other famous. I want to go back to the Bugs Bunny world. What did he say? Daffy Duck.
Correct.
I'm gonna go with. No. If Pooh was number 11, I can't go with Tigger. Fuck. Are there any other famous rabbits? Maybe Bob. Do you have any more guesses? Maybe we can cut this one short.
If you do one more, I'll throw something stupid out.
No, I'm gonna call it. I have nothing else.
You can't let Bob tease us like that, Ben. You got to give us one to hear what Bob has to say.
All right. Other animated shows famous. This is tough. I have nothing. I'll go with Donald Duck.
No Donald Duck.
Mickey Mouse.
Final guess. Mickey Mouse, possibly the most iconic character that has ever been created, is number 8 on this list.
Why did you say Mickey Mouse? You know what I was going to say, Ben? Woody Woodpecker.
Fuck you, Bob. That was your last guess, and you're going to come at me?
You gave it to me.
All right, you guys got 7 that time. Bob did make up a lot of points here, mostly off of Ben's coattails, following up his guesses with other ones on the list. The 3 that you missed, number 10 was Shaggy Rogers. Number 7, Snoopy.
It makes me think Scooby-Doo is on here somewhere.
Scooby-Doo is number 4 on this list.
I would have, if one of us said Shaggy, the other one would have said Scooby.
Oh, for sure. You wouldn't have said Shaggy Rogers, though, so that wouldn't have counted.
I am impressed that you guys got Tom and Jerry, though. kind of expected you guys to miss those two. I was, again, surprised
That
to see
was
them
your
at 1 and
hint.
2.
When your hint of the classic characters really.
Yeah, that helped.
Still
What do
took
we got?
you 40 guesses to get Mickey Mouse, though.
6-5 here. I'm still up.
Ben is up 6-5. We are on our third list here.
Let's get an actual number on guesses.
What's that?
Let's get an actual number on guesses. Like we each get a certain amount of guesses. 5 guesses each.
No, let's go 6. Give me 6.
I want to see if you guys can get the whole list on
All
one
right.
of these.
Yeah, it helps when we start like rattling it off since we had no idea what was coming.
Yeah, you need a couple guesses to recalibrate your mind too. All right.
First 4 don't count.
Our third list. Bob, you're going first again. We're looking for the top 10 best Mark Wahlberg movies.
The Fighter.
The Fighter is number 4.
The Departed.
The Departed is number 2.
Four Brothers? Is that on there?
Four Brothers is on the list, and it is number 5.
I'll go with Ted.
Ted did not make the cut.
Oh, fuck. I almost want to say that new Jesus movie he just came out with. Fuck. Let me think. God, I have one in my head. I don't want to say it, though.
Is it Ted 2? You can go ahead and say it.
I was going to say Spencer Confidential.
Spencer Confidential is not on the list.
He's got some famous movies, but I have no idea what is on this list. I'll go with Pain and Gain with The Rock.
Pain and Gain did not make the cut.
Fuck. Oh my god.
Famous.
You already said The Departed.
That's it. That's
You could say it again if you want to. Maybe it's on there twice.
It should be. That's such a great movie.
Number 2, though. We're still looking for number 1.
The number 1 Mark Wahlberg movie. Fuck me. This is so tough. I feel like it's so obvious. I know. I can't even think of one. Ted 2.
Ted 2 surprisingly didn't make the cut.
all right. I'm gonna go with one Bob said earlier. Did we say Invincible yet for this round?
We didn't for this round. You should, though, because it's number 9.
I'll take it. That's not number 1, but it's on there. His most. Do you think it's his most famous movie, Jeremy?
Admittedly, I'm not as well versed in Mark Wahlberg's filmography, possibly. There's a couple movies I didn't even know he was in, and I'm not super familiar with like his top 5. But, I'm not going to claim to be the biggest Mark Wahlberg fan on this podcast.
Oh, that's Bob. That's embarrassing if I beat him out on this one.
Well, I'm a liar, so fuck, dude. I can't even think of one right now. Is he in Ford versus Ferrari?
Yes, he is. He's Christian Bale in that movie.
I don't think he's in that movie, and for that reason, it's not on this list.
Oh, damn it,
I should
dude.
get his next guess skipped. I'm gonna go with a one that I actually saw in theaters with Denzel, which is Two Guns.
Two Guns not making the top
Fuck.
10. I think it was close, though. I think it might have been in top 15.
This is a fun one because it's fun to see Bob really.
Fucking Christ. Lone Survivor.
Lone Survivor is number 3.
That felt right. Oh, that makes me think Shooter.
Shooter's number 1.
The best one out of all of them. I
dude.
don't know. I didn't think. Thank you, Bob. I'm riding your
Oh,
coattails. now.
I knew. I started thinking. I was like, he's been in a bunch of fucking war movies. Like, I can't
Oh
think
shit! I have another guess,
of- fuck, I might
but I don't know the name of the movie. Bob, come on. You know this one.
Dude, I don't. This is tough. Although, fucking Lone Survivor really came out of nowhere for me, so I feel like it's in my brain. Like, oh
Fuck,
my god,
what is the name of that movie?
This could be the last round if you guys want to give me one more each.
Yeah.
No, that's fair because my guess won't be the name of a movie.
This is just going to be the plot, and I have to decipher
did somebody say Pain and Gain already?
No,
it. Did you, Ben? I don't even remember it.
I did. Yeah.
It's definitely not on the top 10, I can tell you that much.
All right, well, I don't have another one.
All right, that's fair because mine shouldn't count. It's that Boston Marathon one, but I don't know the name of it.
Yeah, I don't
didn't
think
see
it's on here.
What's the name of that movie though? Now it's eating at me.
I don't even know.
Boston?
I almost said just straight up Boston.
All right. Well, you guys got
Patriots Day. Patriots Day. That's what it was.
Yeah, it's not on the list. All right, you guys got 6 out of the 10 here. Number 10. A little disappointed you guys missed this one. The Other Guys.
I didn't even think comedies, huh? Besides Ted.
Number 8, The Italian Job.
Oh, that movie sucked.
Number 7, The Perfect Storm.
The fuck?
Yeah, I don't even know what that one is.
Never heard of that one.
And then number 6 was Deepwater Horizon.
Oh, I saw that one.
Oh, the oil rig?
Yep.
What do we get? 3 and 3 there?
I think so, because Ben, you're still up by 1 point. It is 9-8. We got 2 left. Ben, you'll start guessing on this one again. We are looking for the top 10 all-time greatest action stars.
Tom Cruise.
It hurts me to say Tom Cruise didn't make the top 10 list.
Oh my God, that just is weird.
I know.
Now I don't know what this list is.
I know.
Having started the Mission Impossible franchise today, it hurts me that wasn't on there.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
I think he was top 15. He did not make the top 10.
What is this list? Action stars. All right, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
All-time, Ben, you got number 1 with Arnold.
Okay, I guess I'm going to get number 2 then. I'm going to say Sylvester Stallone.
God, Bob is just fucking
Sly Stallone
taking
is
everything.
number 3, but he is on the list.
Action. Is like Keanu Reeves on there because of John Wick? I'm going with him.
Keanu Reeves sneaks in at number 2.
He's number 2? Wow.
Vin Diesel on the list?
Sadly, Vin Diesel is not on the list. And I will just mention Dom Toretto, not on the list either.
What about Mark Sinclair?
He did not make the cut either.
I just had one. I'm going to go Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis, number 5.
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan, number 4.
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee is number 6. You guys have the top 6 right now.
Action movies. Holy hell, this is tough.
How was Tom Cruise not on there?
How was The Rock not on there?
Because he makes shitty action movies, Bob. Come on.
Kurt Russell.
No Kurt Russell, sadly.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I just can't think of an action movie he's in.
I just said his name.
He's been in every kind of movie. Ben, you started this round, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I will say that 2 of the remaining 4 are very old actors who are still making movies. That's your hint for both of you, because it applies to 2 of them.
Robert Redford.
He's so old that he's dead and not currently making movies. I'm pretty
He
sure.
died? Oh, shit.
Do I need to edit that out? Is Robert Redford dead?
I don't fucking know or care if Robert Redford's dead.
He made The Old Man and the Gun a couple of years ago. That's all I know.
Is he dead or did he retire? He just retired. Scratch that, everyone. He definitely retired, though, so he's not making movies.
Dude, this is fucking tough.
Action. Still making movies. Oh, I have my next guess.
Beat the fuck out of me, dude.
The other 2 are action stars that
I got
could
you.
also guess, but
Yeah, I'll give you one of them coming up after Bob misses this one.
Is Mark Wahlberg on this list?
no Marky Mark.
He's too much of a real actor, Bob. He doesn't have to go to these gimmicks. Even Spencer Confidential is a real movie. I'm going with Liam Neeson.
Surprisingly, Liam Neeson, not in the top 10.
Taken should count.
I'll give you guys
I got
one more each. Or I guess
Bob
you
gets
started.
2 more then.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford is number 9. That is one of the 2 old men I pointed you to. All right, this will be the last round now, starting with Ben.
What's the score right now in this round?
I believe you're up by 2 total. I have the score at 13-11. Hopefully that is accurate.
It is. Old-timey actors that are still working. This is tough.
There's also 2 others on the list that you could just, take a shot at.
I'm just trying to think of any action movies. Still can't believe Tom Cruise isn't on there. Can we let Bob go first? I can't think of any. Bob, you have one that comes to mind?
I have one, but I don't know if that's really action-y. I mean, I can think of 2 like action-ish movies they've been in, and they're old. I mean, like the person is old.
I'm going with a shitty guess of what's his name? Fuck. Daniel Craig.
No Daniel Craig. Decent guess though.
Thank you.
Ian McKellen.
No Ian McKellen on this list, unfortunately. You guys did get 7 of them. The 3 that you missed at number 10, Jet Li.
He's still working?
I don't think so. At number 8, the other old guy, Clint Eastwood.
That's fucking annoying. Hold on. Let me get my fucking... Hold on.
For me, not even being able to see Bob, I'm just like, oh, that's fine. Just keep going.
Number 7, the big reveal, Jason Statham.
That's what I was gonna say, but I was like, no way, he's ahead of Tom Cruise.
I swear we said Jason Statham already.
Fortunately, you did not. All right, with that, we are on to our 5th and final list. Bob, you have a 2-point deficit to make up here, but you are going first. Our final category, we're looking for the top 10 quintessential sci-fi movies. Now, the difference with this category, franchises are lumped together. So a lot of these are franchises, some of them are one-offs, but you don't need to, if you're going to pick a movie in a franchise, you can just say the franchise as a whole.
Star Wars.
Star Wars is number 1 in this
Star
list.
Trek.
Star Trek is on the list at number 5.
The Alien franchise.
Oh, that was my next one.
Alien, number 6.
I'll go with the Terminator.
The Terminator at number 3.
God damn it.
No, it gets tough after that. Those were like my only 4 first thoughts.
Yeah, I feel the same way. They come right away. The Matrix.
The Matrix,
a good one.
At number 7.
Bob's putting the pressure on, only down by 1, and I'm drawing a blank.
You guys have not missed. You're 5 for 5 right now.
Sorry that I'm rooting that. Sci-fi. I'm thinking I feel like all the older ones are gonna lead this category. I don't get the sense that Indiana Jones is sci-fi. You know what? Just because I can't think of anything, I'm gonna go with my favorite movie of all time, and that is Interstellar.
Interstellar didn't make the top 10 list.
Fuck, dude, this is tough. Sci-fi.
I do think you guys got the easy ones with one exception. I still think there's one pretty obvious one left. The rest
Dune?
might be a little bit more difficult. Dune did not make the cut.
Oof. That's big. Do you think they tend to lean more older, Jer, or can you not give hints yet since Bob went first?
I'll wait till we're evened up here on guesses.
Okay. There's no more space movies. That's it. We're all out of space movies.
You guys named them all, so.
Fuck. Sci-fi. Science fiction is what it stands for, correct, Jeremy?
That is correct.
Maybe edit this out. I'm gonna be thinking for like 10 more minutes. God damn.
What do you mean? You don't think the people will enjoy listening to you thinking?
I'm just trying to think of movies I've seen. I don't think I've seen any of the movies left. E.T.
E.T., the extraterrestrial, is number 4.
That's
Wow.
big.
I feel like we might look back and say that's the one that sealed it for Ben right there. Because I wasn't confident you guys were going to get that one.
I just had Tina come up, run up the stairs, and tell me some science fiction movies.
Dude, I can't even think of another fucking movie.
What?
Spaceballs.
I was thinking that, Bob.
No Spaceballs, if you can believe that.
The movie's so good, though.
I guess I'm thinking more Spielberg movies, but is Jurassic Park count as sci-fi?
Jurassic Park is sci-fi. Sadly does not make the top 10 list, though.
Then it must not be sci-fi. That would have made it.
On my list, it would have. Guys are still missing number 2. I think there's a pretty obvious one still hanging out there.
Are they older? Are they older, Jer?
Everything that's remaining is older, with one exception. There is a franchise that had a more recent, but everything else is from 80s, 90s, or earlier.
Dude, this is tough.
I
don't have anything.
I have like 3, but I think 2 of them are like more young adult.
Science fiction.
I'm excited to hear Bob's just throw it out there answers.
Dude, I like literally don't have anything to say. I can't. I don't have a guess.
Is Bob forfeiting?
I guess I am, because how many more guesses am I even going to get? What am I down by? 2 or 3?
You're down by 2 at the moment.
Oh, come on, figure it out.
Dude, I can't even think of one, let alone something on the list.
You can't think of them.
I can't think of a movie right now. Oh, The Lord of the Rings. I don't fucking know. I'm looking at the book right now over my.
I think that's more fantasy.
I know.
Did not make the top 10 for the sci-fi movie list.
I feel confident. I'm just going to throw one out there, a guess. I'll go with Blade Runner.
Blade Runner is number 8.
All right, Bob. Concede. There you go. That's all you needed.
Fuck.
All right. You guys are going to be upset you didn't get number 2. But the 3 that you missed, you got 7. Number 10, Planet of the Apes. Specifically the original 60s series of movies. Number 9 was Close Encounters of the Third Kind. You were right to think Spielberg. You didn't follow up on that, however. Number 2,
No, I did not.
Back to the Future.
Oh.
Ooh.
Where was it?
Ooh.
Ty is
Dude.
upset.
Tyler is upset for sure.
But with that said, after 5 lists, I have the score at Ben 17, Bob 14, making Ben the biggest movie boy.
I'm proud of this victory. It's not much to beat Bob in these types of games, but it's always fun. I still feel like I'm going to get a text from your dad, Jeremy, in a couple days saying you're a piece of shit. How could you not name more of these movies? But I'll take this victory.
You're going to get a text, bro? He's going to call me, probably.
Yeah, you guys were shooting roughly 60% there overall, which is a failing grade. You know, if we want to put it in those kinds of terms. But that'll do it for this episode. That'll do it for our first challenge. Congratulations, Ben. If we do another duel in the future, Bob, you can host it. It'll be Ben versus I, or maybe the next one will be all 3 of us pitted against one another. Only time will tell.
Fucking movie.
We are not doing a punishment movie anymore. Sorry to any longtime listeners who were looking forward to that. I think Ben still owes us one anyway. Bob still owes us one, right?
Bob needs to watch Geostorm still.
Yeah, maybe one of these days we'll watch Geostorm. All right, well, that'll do it for this week. If you're listening to this episode, that means Barbenheimer weekend is upon us. Are either of you guys going to commit to watching either of those movies for us to review next week?
How do I watch it in IMAX? Where do I go to see that, Jeremy?
I'm
talking about that.
Yeah. you just look for an IMAX theater. There's Regals in the area that have IMAX theaters. They're probably sold out at this point, but
Fuck.
Depending
Maybe.
when we're gonna record next week, I plan on seeing this before we record again.
Let's record next month, and then maybe I'll have seen it.
Our timely Oppenheimer review. Look forward to it in November. I will be seeing Barbenheimer today, as of release of this podcast. So I'll at least give my.
Work?
What's that?
You took off of work?
No, I'm starting at 3:30. I get out of work at 3. Starting at 3:30, watching Barbie. 7 or 7:30, seeing Oppenheimer. So it's going to be like a 9-hour span between starting Barbie and ending Oppenheimer.
Just don't drink any water.
No, no liquids. Or I just got to do all my peeing in between movies.
Or in your pants.
But I saw Infinity War or Endgame, or maybe both, back to back. No bathroom breaks. Let it be known. That was a flex, by the way.
I think you should edit that out.
No. Everyone will be very impressed when they hear that. So yeah, other than at the very least, I'll give my very top level spoiler-free thoughts on those 2 movies next week. We'll have to wait and see what else we're doing. But as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And we'll talk to you next week. Peace.